Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, we are back with an expert who can talk us through this big, beautiful bill thing. And so far, I like it. But we're with Steve Moore, Trump economic advisor, miracle person, author, and heritage, you name it, he's there. You've been fantastic on all these issues for so long. Steve Moore, are you happy this morning or this afternoon?
Yeah, I am. I've got a big smile on my face. I mean, look, it's not a perfect bill, and there's some things I'd like to see the Senate do to improve it. I'd like to see some of these budget reforms really kick in earlier because we do have an enormous national debt. As you know, Greg, we're at $2 trillion of losing $2 trillion a year, so we need to rein in some of the spending. But this is a big, big victory for Donald Trump. You know, remember, he was the one who went to the House earlier this week and laid down his fist and said, hey, you guys, get this done. It is Trump's party, and these guys followed his command, and they got it passed by, I think it was one vote. I think it was a huge victory. I'm a big, big fan of this speaker. I've got to say, Speaker Johnson did an amazing job herding these cats and getting that vote in a triumphant way. And then I think Chip Roy deserves a lot of credit. He was the one who delayed this vote for about a week because he said that there's not enough in it that is, good for conservatives. And he got some additional spending cuts that I think were very worthwhile, including, speeding up the elimination of these Green New Deal subsidies. So big day for conservatives and a good day for the American family. Look, the average family was facing a $2,500 a year tax increase on January 1st if this didn't get done. Amazing to me, Greg, every single Democrat in Congress voted for a higher tax on the American middle class.
Well, all right. Excellent. You want to get a few more things out of the Senate bill. Look, a lot of people in my audience upset about the lack of, income tax remains on Social Security. That would have been unbelievably awesome, but possibly, really dangerous for the dead. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Look, I don't think it's fair to tax people on Social Security benefits, especially if they continue to work. And if you're working, and you paid into the system, why should you have to pay a tax on it for the benefit that you get? It doesn't really make any sense to me. So, but it just look, we tried to put as much in the box as we could. And it just turned out we just didn't have enough money to do everything Trump wanted. And, so it's just a fiscal reality. But Trump really did fit a lot in the box. I wanted that 15% business tax rate. We didn't get that in there either. So there are things that were left on the cutting board table, but we did get no tax on tips. And amazing vote that nobody paid much attention to, Greg, happened in the Senate earlier this week, where they put on the Senate floor no tax on tips. And remember, Trump was criticized when he said this. It passed unanimously in the Senate. Every Democrat even voted for that.
Let me run this by you. And by the way, I'm reading this, all right? But let me ask you this. The increase in the state and local tax, SALT, deduction cap from $10,000 to $30,000 for incomes under $400,000 has been criticized for disproportionately benefiting residents of high tax states. Is that a fair assessment, or is that a fair criticism?
Yeah, no, there's no reason there should be any deduction for state and local taxes. When we put the original bill together back in 2017, I was one of the largest agitators for getting rid of the state and local tax deduction. All it does is encourage states and localities to raise their taxes. I know you have a huge New York and New Jersey listenership for your show. If you're angry, and you should be angry about the out-of-control taxes in New York and New Jersey, take it up in Trenton and take it up in Albany. That's the problem. And so, when you have the states that don't even, there are 9 states that don't have any income tax at all, and they're able to provide good services for their taxpayers. Why can't New York and New Jersey do that?
But you know what we're up against, right? I mean, this culture up here. And changing Albany is going to take about 50 years potentially, or maybe less. But, in the meantime, we have these insane onerous taxes. And I mean, I feel like we really deserve a break. And President Trump, he knows that. He knows this system, and he knows what people are paying and not getting adequate services for what we're paying for. Come on. Can you hook us up with that one for old time's sake?
Well, look, there's no question about it. New York and Florida have the same population virtually, and New York spends in taxes twice as much, and I don't think you get twice as good of services. But look, I just think it's a bad policy to allow these. It's only encouraged states to raise their taxes in localities. You need a frugal government in Albany. You haven't had one in a long time.
Hey, when it comes to the no tax on overtime, overtime is generally speaking time and a half, right? I take it
right.
That the half part is the part that's not taxed, but the time part is, right?
I believe that is true. I'm going to have to double check that. That's a good question. So I can't say definitively. I just know Trump said no tax on tips. I mean, no tax on overtime. And I don't know if he meant the whole overtime or just the half, because you get time. And I know that because when I was a kid, I used to work a lot of overtime, and I really appreciated that extra money in my pocket, and it infuriated me that I got taxed more on that.
Yeah, I did it at Bloomingdale's inventory. I worked at Bloomingdale's. Curtis Sliwa still gives me a hard time. Hey, he worked at Bloomies. Like it was like as if it was like a sissy job or whatever. But it was actually a pretty cool job.
I may be a little older than you. I was earning. Let's see, my check was $3.25 an hour.
Well, I do remember $3.35 being the minimum wage, and then it went up to $3.50.
Yeah,
I was working at the Food Basket in Garden City, although they paid me like 30 cents above minimum wage, and I felt like, wow, they really recognize my talent. All right. So is there anything else? What else do you want to say about this big, beautiful bill? Oh, now that it's with the Senate, is this reconciliation or is this conference committee? What is this phase called?
The Senate has to pass the bill, version of the bill itself. It will be different than the House bill. And then you go to the conference committee where they reconcile the differences between the two bills. So there's still a bunch of steps to go here. I wish this had been done a long time ago, frankly. I mean, this could have been done in the first 100 days. It's not complicated. Trump passed a tax bill. It worked. It was effective in terms of creating jobs and putting income back into people's pocketbooks. And it was popular with people. And then Trump ran out for president saying, look, I'm gonna, if you elect me, I'm going to make this permanent. And the people elected him. Incidentally, the polls show the vast majority of Americans, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, support making this tax bill permanent, which is, again, I'm still mystified as to why every Democrat voted against it.
Why every it is kind of crazy, right? But I got to tell you, boy, oh boy, they've got discipline, don't they? I mean,
they do.
It's and they enforce it.
You should play for your listeners the Chuck Schumer. I don't know if you saw his statement, but it was so it was obnoxious. He was saying, "Oh, people don't want this, and this is just for the favored few." And I'm like, wait a minute, the average family is going to get a big tax cut here. Why does he keep talking about only the rich are going to get a tax cut here?
Speaking of Chuck Schumer, you're right. I have to play that, but I forgot to play this, and this might be also part of his end game here. I mean, what he said out loud about illegal immigrants. Do me a favor, Steve Moore, check this out. Go ahead.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Everybody, however many there are here, and some people think there are 20 million here, you got to make them all citizens. This is the takeover, the Democrat takeover. This is the rationale for letting all those people inside. Right, Steve?
It is. I mean, look, I'm very pro-immigration. He's right. We do need immigrants to help, build our economy. They always have. But look, Americans want them to come in the right way, not the wrong way. The bill, the objection the Democrats had to this bill was this restricts the ability of illegal immigrants to go on the taxpayer dole and get free health care from the taxpayers. No, sorry, Chuck, that's not the way America works. You can't come in illegally and work, and you can't come in illegally and work work and then go on welfare benefits. People will not accept that. It's the wrong way to do it. We're a country of immigrants. People do want legal immigration, but they don't want people come in and we don't know who they are. We don't know what they're doing here. We don't know if they have diseases. We don't know if they're terrorists. I mean, that's outrageous. And by the way, Tom Homan, a good friend of mine, he has done an amazing job, Greg. In just less than 3 months, he's cut the illegal crossings by 92%.
It really is. And he did that by enforcing the laws that are on the books and you fully utilizing the power that they have. That's fair, because it didn't take a lot of budgeteering to get that done. Fair?
You know, it's true. It's not that Joe Biden couldn't control the border. It's that his party didn't want to control the border. They did want these illegal immigrants in the country. And my only possible explanation is they wanted these people to vote.
Hey, one other thing here, Steve Moore. Check this out. The Trump administration is yanking Harvard University's authorization to enroll foreign students. Foreign students will not be able to enroll at Harvard. This is a major escalation, a financial blow, certainly for Harvard. But maybe they'll tone back their anti-Semitism now. This is can we do this? And I like it, but can it be done?
I just heard that news just a few minutes before I came on the show, so I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, whether this will pass muster with the courts. But good for Trump going after these elite, arrogant universities who are just so out of touch with middle class values in this country.
No, they're the preaching of anti-Americanism and anti-Semitism. It's bad enough when American citizens do it, but when you're here as our guest, it is doubly offensive potentially. Steve Moore. President's right-hand man when it comes to all things economy. We so appreciate it. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Greg. Have a great weekend. Take care.
You bet.